So Sue from OML Embroidery, if you've never subscribed to her or looked at her videos, she's very talented and does all sorts of interesting demonstrations. But she was demonstrating this software that she just recently bought called My Lace Maker by Dime, and she was demonstrating the amazing embroidery you can design using the tool. But while exploring this software, I clicked on here and I found some interesting other softwares. So I'm clicking on preview software here, waiting for it. Computer's a bit slow today. So there we go. And in here, while I was exploring, they had all sorts of interesting tools, but something that caught my attention was this, My Fabric Designer. And I wanted to try it out, but I didn't want to buy it, the software initially, because I wanted to see how the quality of the result was before I spend 399 American dollars. However, it's quite something else, and I wanted to demonstrate what I achieved. So I use my own graphic design software that I've got on my machine to test it out. Found some issues more from my side, not understanding sizes, but the result is excellent. So I think it's really worth exploring and seeing what this particular software can do for you. But what it does is it automatically uploads to a company called, down here, you upload the file to My Fabric Design. So what I did is thought, well, what is that? So I Googled it. I searched, if you're not a Google user. And I found this company which actually prints it. Oops. And what you can do is you can either buy stuff that's already there, so that people have uploaded, tons and tons and tons, and you can choose your fabric, or you can actually upload your own designs and print it. So you can see is the ones that I uploaded here, and you can choose how they're going to look. So where I had the issue is I was not so great at getting the size right. So the software, I'm sure, will help making sure you understand that better. But the results I got were excellent. And what you can do is you can just upload a fabric design like this. Very easy to do. And you just select your file, and it's got some limits and things like that. And then what I did is I just grabbed, oops, wrong thing. And then I grabbed a file, which I did put in the right size, and you see it loading. Okay, so wait just a second. It's thinking at the moment. You can see the wheel turning. And then you can choose like a group, because what you can actually do, if you're an artist or something, you could put your stuff up in here, and if people buy it, you can buy it. So that looks good. And if I click save, what it'll allow me to do now is to go in here. And you can share design. And if, oop, there it's clunked. Okay, now comes the fun. Oop. So if I click on here, so I've just put it in there for the future, so I can always do it. This is where it gets a bit of fun. What it does is it shows you how it's going to look. And this is where I went wrong with mine. Somehow I ended up with these far too big. But you choose here your fabric. Now the only thing I don't like about this website is you have to guess a bit on what some of these things are. So I chose faux linen canvas, and I assumed that was, and it worked out fine. And I also chose the organic cotton sateen, which is just beautiful. But you got lots, you got premium cotton. I would like to get a set of samples from this company of all these different fabrics. Some of them are obvious, like you got satin, but it doesn't say if it's polyester satin. I'm guessing it is, or viscose or something. Silk crêpe de chine, that one is going to be silk, but it'd be nice to have an example of what these fabrics actually look like. But I'm guessing from when I played with this, they're just all white and then you print on it. And that certainly was my guess, and it worked. So you got cotton poplin, so you could use that for crafting and quilting, and then it's got a different fabric width, and it shows you how it's going to look. So to me, that's 20 inches by 20 inches, which is big. But that's okay. And then you choose your how many yards or meters you want. What else does it give you? You can. So you can order swatches, which is kind of fun. You can also order fat quarters. So I mean, it's a great software. It's not super cheap, but the quality is superb. So if you want something very special, you could do amazing stuff with this. And that's why I thought I would explore this a bit to see what would happen. And so I'm going to show you the results of what this turned out like in a moment. So here is a start of my project. That is the digital copy, so that's a print from the original. And this is, very wrinkly, but it's just arrived, the printed fabric. So I'm very pleased. It's still got some issues from user error, in that this is a lot bigger than I anticipated. However, it's still beautiful, and I will still be able to work with it. It's quite impressive, really, the detail that they were able to print onto the fabric. So this is cotton sateen, very, very nice sateen. And I'm going to now work with this. I think we'll have to put some embroidery stitches on it just to add a bit of extra detail back. Perhaps like in the leaves or something, I might figure a way. I might use some felting techniques. But on the whole, it's just beautiful. So here we have the original. Now I removed, when I digitized it and sent it to the company, I removed the cream so that would just, so you can see there's white and then there's a cream background. So I removed the cream background and then scanned it. So I did a bit of technique and mirrored it in different ways. The idea was to create a table runner. And so it would have been one of those patterns, and Tiago, as you can see, is taking up residence as normal. However, if I were to actually not do it as a table runner, but do it as a tablecloth instead, I could use two of those patterns together. And that might actually look quite nice. So I'll have to decide if I'm going to make two table runners and slice it basically up the middle there, and then that will give that pattern there There's one table runner, that's the other one. There's a bit of extra on the side for the repeat, but that actually would make a really neat border for something. So you see there's just sort of one run up the side. So I might have to figure out what to do with that. But I will eventually decide if I'm just going to leave that as a table runner or make it as a tablecloth. Now this part was, I would not say least successful, but differently successful than what I anticipated. So I intentionally stretched the pattern to make it square with the intention of making these into tea napkins. But as you can see, the size that they were supposed to be, which would have been there, is in fact the size of a pillow. So I'm not sure exactly what I did because I was pretty good at measuring. Now that I've had this size issue, I'm probably a bit inclined to buy the app that exists to make it easier to transfer the files up. But whether it would avoid that size change, I don't know. Might be one of those pick up the phone jobs and call the company and say, okay, how do we fix this? But I'm delighted anyway. I think we'll have some beautiful results out of it. So I've just put it on the table to see what it will look like. It doesn't really fit in the colors of the room in that it's all earth tones around here. However, it's beautiful in its own right. And for the tea party that we will have, it'll be absolutely beautiful. And what a surprise when she walks in and sees this. And obviously the teacups will be out and it'll look really splendid.